Hello and welcome to Capelle's Live Chat, where you can get insights on the business world amidst our changing times. My name is Mark Lee, and I'd like to introduce you to our COVID setup. We have the microphone here. We have our guest for today, Kim Tan, sitting 1 meter apart. Kim is our head of learning design here at Capelle, and she's going to be sharing with us today on the topic of growing and adapting beyond skills competencies. Kim, great to have you here.
Thank you, Mark. I'm excited to be here today.
Kim, there's clearly an emphasis here on going beyond skills competencies in terms of growing and adapting. Why not set the stage for us? Why this emphasis on going beyond?
Well, in the last year, we saw how the business environment changed. It was propelled obviously by the pandemic, and that required almost everyone, to shift to remote work of one form to another. Business models have to change, and people, had to adapt. And the pace of change is not going to slow down, even though we're going to move to a new normal.
Yeah, I think that's probably something that for many of our viewers maybe sounds a little bit daunting. We say we're in a new normal. Doesn't that imply that perhaps even change might be something we become more used to, or maybe goes to a more sane pace?
Okay, what's normal is that change is going to happen. Still, we're going to have change. We're going to face with change, and that's what you can take comfort in. But the new thing is that it's going to happen more quickly.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So organizations need to adapt themselves even more quickly than in the past. And we are forced to learn new technologies, new skills. I mean, every so often, the rate of change is just going faster and faster.
Yeah, and I'm hearing from you when you share about what new things we need to learn. There's the picking up of new skills, new technologies, but I heard you mention also just learning on a kind of more fundamental level. Maybe you can help us understand that distinction?
Okay, so with the pace of change going faster and faster, the role of L&D, the Learning and Development Department, has to change as well. We need to move to beyond thinking about skills upgrade, skills change. We need to think about how to upgrade the mindset as well. So the mindset we need to work on is to develop the kind of mindset that is nimble, that's adaptable. So cultivating a mindset that is ready to look at what is changing, what is new, and then say, oh, I can do something about it.
So it sounds like a spirit of curiosity on top of adaptability.
That's right.
Okay.
If going by the traditional way, the L&D may have a myriad of classes, micro skills that they can learn, or you can put a menu like a buffet of of online classes or in-person classes. But if employees don't have that mindset of change and adaptability, they're just going to sign up because I have to.
Right.
Yeah, but if they have that kind of curiosity, they will have the motivation to learn.
Yes.
And even if there's no course available, the L&D may not have identified that course, they will go out on their own to go find what they need to learn.
That sounds like the model employee. But I think a lot of what you talked about in terms of characteristics of curiosity, in terms of adaptability, that's something which it sounds is very applicable to whatever level of employment you are in the organization. But in as much as we intuitively resonate with that, we say, oh yes, we should be curious, we should be adaptable. Do we really have a good understanding of what that looks like? Can you paint a clear picture for us?
Let me give you an example. I recently watched a movie called Hidden Figures. It's a true story based on a book that's of the same title. The story is set in the 1960s. It's about a few Black American women. It was during that time. It was the time of the space race. So these Black women were working as human computers in NACA.
Human computers?
Yeah, which is now known as NASA. Everybody knows what this is. So America was behind the Russians in the space race.
That's right.
And they were working very, very hard with lots of difficulty in sending their astronaut into orbit and back. So the role of these women was to calculate the very complex math to require for the launch and re-entry of the space shuttles. So one of the lead characters is a lady called Dorothy, and she was the de facto supervisor of this group of black ladies who were the human computers.
Okay.
So she was quite frustrated because she was not recognized for her role and paid for her role as a supervisor. So one day she went to confront her boss,
Okay.
a white lady,
Okay.
about it. And when she was there, she found out that their jobs was going to be replaced by the electronic IBM 7090 computer.
Wow.
So
Okay.
what's the point of getting a supervisor when they will be jobless?
I see.
Yeah. So when Dorothy found out, she was like, oh no, I need to do something about it.
Yeah.
So she went to the library. Okay, she actually went to the part where this is the whites only, and she found a computer book on programming, Fortran computing.
Okay.
And she went and she learned, and she went to learn, and she went to teach.
Wow, very dedicated.
Her colleagues. And it happened that they installed the computer in NASA, but the technicians couldn't work it.
Oh,
they had
no.
trouble starting that computer.
Okay.
The computer is huge, takes up many room space.
Yeah.
So what she did was, in the off hours, she went into the computer room and she fiddled and tried different things based on what she read, and she got the computer to work.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Okay.
everybody's like, wow, like exactly.
Yeah.
And including the white supervisors, they recognize that she can do something and she has the skills, and they actually got her to teach the rest of the white people
Okay.
how to run this computer and programming.
Wow.
So she didn't have the luxury of L&D. Okay guys, attend this programming course.
Yeah.
She realized, she saw the need,
Yeah.
and she went to learn.
Wow, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a really good story. I mean, even though you mentioned it's set in the 1960s, I think there's a lot of parallels to our time here today. People look at technology all around them, and you just go, oh my goodness, am I going to be out of a job because a robot's taking over, right?
That's right.
And I think that's just a pressure that I think we acknowledge many people are facing. And one of the insights we can get from this story is actually how to deal with that more creatively, right?
Yeah.
Really having that drive, like you mentioned, to go out of their way to really find a solution. But I think also then to share that knowledge within the organization still. I think that's really powerful.
That's right.
Yeah.
An example we see is one in DBS. Okay, they have this scheme called the Gandalf Scholars.
Okay,
So the
like
scholars,
the wizard.
yeah, that's right. They allow people in the organization who apply for the Gandalf Scholarship to learn anything they like.
Anything.
Yep.
Wow.
If they come back and teach others what they've learned.
Okay.
So in the process of teaching others, the person who's teaching learns more,
Yes.
and the other people in the organization benefit as well.
Yeah.
So that's a kind of learning culture that
Yeah.
they're promoting.
Yeah, I think that's another really solid practical example of how to make some steps towards developing a corporate culture of curiosity, of adaptability, because this example now is even broader in the sense it's like whatever you're passionate about, just with the condition that you come back and teach. That's where it gets quite beautiful, right, Kim? Because you're suddenly taking the interests of the employee and merging it with the best practices with the interests of the organization.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. So cultivating that kind of mindset of curiosity and growth is what we want in our employees in this very fast-changing environment. So the new normal needs us to get our staff to take that ownership to learn. To go and look out. Oh, I have this. In doing this task, I maybe have some gap. I don't really know how to do it, but I can go and find out how to get the skills needed. And there's so many skills available. You can sign up online. You can sign up for course in person.
That's right.
So instead of the L&D just looking for courses for them, the ownership is transferred. So this thing, of course, is not as easily. It's easily said than done.
Sure.
Yeah. And we cannot just limit it to a particular part of the organization. The culture needs to be built up across the organization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's where perhaps this insight of recognizing that as employees try and step into this space of being curious, growing in adaptability, like you mentioned, it may not always be the smoothest journey. There may be what we might call even mistakes or failures, But I think you mentioned a very key insight, which is that organizations should still be supportive of that spirit, try and really grow that culture, even if it isn't always maybe a linear way to the top. There may be some ups and downs as you go, right?
Yeah, that's right. So it does mean that you encourage your employees to take risks, appropriate risks, and then recognizing them for the lessons learned. I mean, even if they fail, failure is also a time for learning.
Very true.
Yeah, I mean, we know that, fail fast, learn fast as well. Yeah. So as long as the lessons are shared with others, the organization learns. So in other words, we really need to build that kind of mindset to learn, to grow, besides just focusing on just skills.
Yeah, really love that insight, that emphasis on growing our mindsets rather than just maybe technical skills.
That's right.
So we are coming to the close of our time very soon, Kim. I just would love to ask you if you have maybe a takeaway or some food for thought for those that are joining us to carry them through maybe before they join us for our next episode.
Okay, so one question we can ask ourselves every day is, how am I encouraging curiosity and excitement to learn to the people around us, with the people we interact with every day? How can I help people see that they're able to learn and to grow and adapt every day and everywhere?
Right. I think that's such a wonderful insight because it's immediately applicable, right? It's wherever you are or whatever situation you're in, to have that mindset to say, how can I be curious about what could be possibly done here in a new way, a creative way? Thanks so much for that, Kim. I really appreciate all the insight and the time you've given us here.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, thank you so much for that. And to all that joined us for this time, we thank you very much. Again, this has been Capelle's Live Chat, where you can get insights on the business world amidst our changing times. For now though, we will bid you farewell. Do join us for our next episode in a couple weeks' time. Bye-bye.